Well, hello there, fellow explorers, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays Ark Survival Evolved. Now, we have a baby Dodo. Oh, he's so cute. Now, this one is known as Diddles because, well, I don't know, because I wanted to call it Diddles. We've got Rufus and Coelacanth and Didi and Diddles now as well. Unfortunately, Diddles is a little bit slow, but yeah, it comes. There are some more dodos obviously running around everywhere, so we are going to be shooting some of them. Like that, because I want some hide and meat. Now, of course, it is now the Valentine's event, therefore there are a whole bunch of pink things running around everywhere as well, which of course is not the natural color of the dodos. They were more of a dullish grey-brown color. There is the story of the white dodo, which people thought existed. However, the white dodo was most likely the... Now I've got to remember the correct island here. It's not the Rodriguez solitaire. It is the Reunion ibis. That was most likely the one that they observed. And that one then was white in color. And so initially there were these reports of these flightless birds coming in. And people had named the dodo, and then they thought, well, the white one was, that they heard about at least, was a white dodo. However, dodos were probably never white in color. They were most likely a dull grey to brown color. Now, of course, they were basically oversized pigeons, and they're an example of what we call insular gigantism, which is when a creature on an island gets larger than its typical mainland counterparts. And that's because on an island, there are very few predators, and smaller body sizes are usually due to the organisms trying to avoid predation. So when an organism is on an island and there are no predators, they can then afford to actually grow larger. And yeah, that was basically what happened there with the dodo. I don't like the Ichthyornis. They do tend to steal a whole bunch of stuff. However, they are a little bit difficult to shoot. Ah, we got them. Ichthyornis, ichthi referring to fish, ornis referring to bird. So this is a fish bird. That's literally what it means. Let's just harvest some more berries simply because we can. Our Parasaurolophus here being an amazing berry harvester. And we are going to be using the narco berries to make a lot more narcotics. Now there is another creature we had seen previously on the beach here, but I really want to have a good look at them, and so I'm just going to go looking to see if I can find another one. Wow, this is a gorgeous one. Oh, really want to tame this one. Yes, I think let's try to knock this one out. Okay, however, I do believe we need fish to tame it. Which... oh, there's one there. If we can get the coelacanth without being eaten by anything. Let's just get the coelacanth corpse out of the water. I don't like being in the water. Right. Now, coelacanths here are some of the first fish... first big splits in fish that occurred in the history of the Earth. We're just going to hopefully be able to tame this little guy. And it's weird. The coelacanth is known as what we call a lobe-finned fish, which is different from the majority of the fish alive today, known as the ray-finned fish. And the lobe-finned fish splits away from the other fish before land vertebrates evolved, things like amphibians and reptiles and mammals and stuff. And as a result, if you look at it, the coelacanth is closer to us as humans than they are to other fish. Because the other vertebrates split away from the coelacanth later than the coelacanth split away from the other ray-finned fish. And that's just a weird little thing to think about. But yeah, coelacanth is closer to us as humans than they are to the other fish that we see swimming around today. Now, the coelacanth was believed extinct for millions of years. The fossils ended about 66 million years ago. until one was discovered off the coast of South Africa in the 1930s, I believe it was. And then they realized, oh, it's actually not extinct. And now there are known to be two species of coelacanth on Earth. One occurs off the coasts of the Comoros Islands and South Africa, and then there's one off the coast of Indonesia and so. Both species occur in very deep depths, whereas previously they occurred in shallower waters as well. Nowadays, if you want to see coelacanth, you would need to dive down to, well, down there, and they would be somewhere in the deeper parts of the ocean. And they're mostly nocturnal, which is of course why they were not known to be alive until one was discovered and brought to an ichthyologist in South Africa. At that time, it actually was quite decomposed, and thankfully, though, the ichthyologist was able to identify it as a coelacanth, because there really is nothing like them alive on Earth. Unfortunately, though, both species are endangered. Both are very rare and very rarely seen, of course, as well. While our little Pteranodon, however, is taming, I'm going to go ahead and have a look and see if I can find the other little creature I wanted to have a good look at. They usually spawn along the coasts here. Now, for a moment I thought I saw one, but it's just a Lystrosaurus. But they're usually along the coast. They're actually more of an aquatic species. So let's take a little dive in the water here, see if we can see any. Not that I can see. But they do sometimes come onto land as well. Unfortunately, it seems no luck. Okay, our Pteranodon over here is taming up nicely. And hopefully he will be ours in a moment. But the other little creature I haven't been able to find. We may need to wait for nighttime. Not sure whether it works like that in the game. But they would have been probably more out of the water at night rather than during the daytime. Similar to what horseshoe crabs do nowadays, where they come out at on certain nights to actually spawn. And then the rest of the time they are in the water. Now it is nighttime now, and I'm still trying to find the little creature I wanted to have a look at. But at least our Pteranodon over here has, well, finished taming. And we're just going to call him Brinjal, because he kind of looks like an eggplant. Now, one thing we also do need to do is actually build up our attacking force. And we're going to need to have a dinosaur that can do real lot of damage and be useful as a mount. And in order to do that, I need to build a trap. Now this over here will be our quarry. It is a Triceratops. Tri referring to 3, and Ceratops I think means horned face. So Triceratops meaning 3-horned face. And these horns were not just for display or to attract the opposite sex. This was definitely for defense, as was this frill on the top of the head as well. Now in the different species of ceratopsians, meaning horned heads, the frills were very, very different from one another, allowing us to easily differentiate between the different species. Now there were, I think, 2 species of Triceratops. This is most likely the more common one, I think, Triceratops horridus, if I'm not mistaken. They are, however, gentle herbivores. Now I say gentle, that's relatively speaking. They were herbivores, and using their parrot beak, or parrot-like beak over here, they didn't have jaws that could move side to side like ruminants can nowadays. They used their parrot-like beak to shear vegetation off and then just ingest it. And a lot of species would most likely then have used gastroliths, which are stomach stones, to grind down their food even more, allowing them to then actually digest their food. Even though they can't chew it to get it finer, they could grind it down in their stomachs to aid digestion. Now what we are going to be doing now is trying to get this little one over here into our trap over here. However, we do actually need a wooden ramp to go in. There's no way at the moment for the poor little Triceratops to go into the trap there. So let's just craft 2 of those. It's a relatively simple trap, this, consisting of stone door frames and stone foundation there. I think it's a 3x4, more or less, except for that little weird indentation there. Unfortunately, the terrain over there did not allow me to do it properly. Now the Triceratops is now perfectly lined up, and we're just going to use our tranq arrows over here to try and knock it out. Now, tranquilizers, like we are using here, would really be specific. The amount of tranquilizers you would use would be dependent on the species that you are trying to tranquilize. Tranquilizers are basically toxins that shut down the nervous system of the creature you are trying to tame, or in this case knock out. And we are just waiting for him to charge in, and then we are going out the door, and now we can tame it or tranquilize it at our leisure. And the reason we are using stone door frames here is because we do not want it to easily break open the wooden door frames. So this is hopefully going to work. And she's out, meaning that we can now tame her using berries. And mejo berries, I think, are usually the best to actually use. Now, of course, we are going to need a name for her, so drop any name suggestions you have down in the comments below, and then the best one, or the one that I think most describes our Triceratops over here, will be what we name her. This is going to be awesome. Now, we need to also make a saddle so that we can actually ride her. And all we still need is a little bit of wood for that. That should allow us to craft the trike saddle, which will be great. Now, in order to become more effective survivors, or well, better survivors, we are going to need to also start smelting some things. Oh, we're almost there with the trike. So let's build a refining forge. For that, we are going to need a lot of stone. I do believe I have a lot of hide as well, but a lot of stone, that is what we are going to need. So, choppy choppy. Now, if you are not familiar with this, if you use your axe on rocks like these, it will grant you more stone. If you use your pickaxe, it will grant you more flint and metal. And since we are after stone, that's why we are using the axe that we have. The Triceratops, as yet unnamed, has been tamed. And let's just put that up there and get her to follow us. We're going to be making fire right next to the, well, right next to a thatch roof and everything, which seems safe. But this will allow us to actually put in raw metal over here and get metal ingots in the process. Let's have a look here. Diddles is still alive. Oh, yay. Diddles, are you now an adult? Does look like it. But we need another female. Okay, let's go. And quickly knock out another female. There we go, there's another female. Knocky knocky. Knock knock. Who's there? Dodo. Dodo whoa. Dodo fists. And that's my dad joke for the day. Run away, little one. Again, notice the wings, the short stubby wings, but used to stabilize the dodo while it's running. They were actually a little bit quicker than they are in this game, most likely. They look plump and useless, but they're actually quite quick. We're going to call this new one Pidgey. And oh my word, you are slow, so let's pick you up and run with you, eh? Okay, and there they go. Already at it. Ah, there's another egg. Let's quickly grab it. And then try to hatch it. Now, we have also made a smithy, which is going to be useful when making all kinds of things. So let's just put that, down more in the middle over here. Our poor little base over here is getting quite crowded. However, that is just the way it is. Now, the smithy we are going to be using to craft things like crossbows and all kinds of fun things. But now, however, we're going to keep on... What's happening here? Hey. We're going to keep on smelting. And we need a bit more iron ore. I am also busy taming a Lystrosaurus around here somewhere. Is it you? Yes. So soon we should have a little Lystrosaurus. Now the Lystrosaurus, like this little one over here, this little girl, They were from before the time of the dinosaurs. They were around before them, and they were actually very, very common. This group of organisms with the little tusks were extremely common back in the day. Not as common as things like the trilobites in the ocean, but on land, they were some of the dominant organisms around. And there we go, a little baby dodo. Let's see, imprint. We'll call her Fluffles. And let's just make sure that this little one eats. Okay, I think she's got enough berries to last for now. So let's just quickly give this Lystrosaurus another berry. Oh, and she's dead. Okay. I guess waste not, want not, eh? I have found that occasionally they tend to die from whatever you'd give them. And apparently that was one of those cases. Okay. Well, there is a drop up there, so let's quickly go and get that then, shall we? Yes, thank you, unnamed trike. It is a Fiomia saddle. Okay. That's nice. Now, apparently, William the Ecologist was feeling a little bit too cold the whole time, so I need to quickly make some armor over here. But because his hat is part of his outfit, I have to just remove that skin and, of course, put it back on. There we go. Now, William is looking a little bit better equipped for the outside world. Right. Hopefully I also now won't constantly freeze to death. Unfortunately, the little Lystrosaurus that I was feeding died as well. So, yeah. But good news is that I have managed to make a saddle for our Pteranodon. Now, Pteranodons like this, unfortunately, wouldn't have been strong enough to actually carry a person. And, yeah, Brinjal over here is going to also battle. They were really not very strong. However, I'm just going to take up her weight so she will be able to carry us a little bit more easily when we have actually dropped the majority of the meat and stuff. Now we are light enough to actually go for a bit of a flyover. And now it is a whole new world. Now, unfortunately, the stamina, as you can see from the top, they will drain quite quickly. But we are just going to quickly fly around, see if we can spot anything interesting. Now, pteranodons like this one here would have been fish eaters most of the time, most of them at least, but some of them obviously were also more carnivorous and taking, in some cases, even small dinosaurs. But there was also an island, I think it's Hatsek Island, where there were giants of these pterosaurs. Not pteranodon, but there was a massive species of pterosaur. A pterosaur meaning winged lizard. And it's important to note that they were not, in fact, dinosaurs. Oh, look at the little guy sitting on my lap. Oh, cute. But they were not, in fact, dinosaurs. They were a different group of reptiles. We used to say that no dinosaurs were able to do powered flight like pterosaurs can. However, there have been some found, like Microraptor has been found that could do powered flight, more than people initially believed was possible. However, no dinosaur was truly as airborne as the pterosaurs were. Also, no dinosaur lived in the ocean like the mosasaurs and plesiosaurs and pliosaurs and all those different things did. So whenever people talk about dinosaurs, you have to be careful. Not all the animals on Ark, for example, are dinosaurs. And I do foresee myself making a bit of a mistake and also talking about the dinosaurs we're going to tame. But in fact, we're just taming all kinds of mostly extinct creatures. Now, there are some creatures on the Ark here that are not extinct. Certainly the plants over here, the palm trees and the ferns and things like that we can also see around, they are not extinct. Well, unless these are some extinct species of the species that we do still find. But there are also some other things like the mantas, which are still in existence. Ah, of course, just as we get to this one here, it disappears. But wow, we have a whole new world over here. Now, I usually spawn on the beach way over there. So this is, I have gotten to this point previously. Oh, there's a Carnotaurus. Yeah. there are 2 Carnotauruses. 2 Carnotauri. I don't know how. Oh, and they're attacking Pachycephalosaurus. Pachycephalosaurus, the dome head. Oh, and there's a Tecparosaur. Oh dear. These Carnotauruses here are going to be messing up the ecosystem a little bit. Well, I say messing up the ecosystem. They're just going to be doing what carnivores do. There's also a Therizinosaurus over there, hiding, now going behind the trees there. In this game, very aggressive. But they had massive claws, and we will be talking about them later on. And we will definitely also be taming them at some point as well. For now, however, we are going to be ending our episode over there. So thank you everybody for joining me on our little adventure. Hope you learned something as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Next time we are going to hopefully be talking about the creatures I did want to talk about. But in the comments, please drop down what you would like to see me do next. Also, give me a name. Give me a suggestion for a name that we can call our Triceratops that we have tamed. And until next time, everybody, stay safe. I will see you all soon.